All right, guys. Today we are doing a step one of our sedimentary rock identification lab. This is not going to be a virtual one, so I wanted to show you what we're doing in the classroom identifying. We're doing the entire thing together, but I'm making my students guess them first and then actually go through them so we have the correct answers. So the lab is right here. Just click the link and you're going to come to this. This is what you're going to be filling out. And what I had them do first was guess which rock it was. So they just wrote down the rock name. And then we went back through them and just made sure that they got them all correct. And then they filled out all this other information about clastic or crystalline and grain size and all that stuff. Anyway, so you're going to need to type in this information here as we go through this quick video. Sorry about the bell. Okay, so this is rock number one. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show them to you. If you want to try like pausing and guessing what they are first, go for it. It's a good challenge to you. I'm going to go through them all at the end of this video anyway. So this is rock number one. It's got a little bit of a gritty texture to it. You can kind of see that there. This is rock number two. Rock number two is very shiny and black. It's kind of lightweight. Will rub off on paper if you rub it on paper, but you can kind of see the color kind of gives this one away. This is rock number three right here. And if you look at that closely, all the sediments in this that are embedded together are mostly kind of rounded. So that kind of gives you an idea of what that is. This is rock number four, which has angular fragments embedded together. They're pretty decent size. Okay. And so that's number four. It's very similar to number three, but angular. You can see how sharp the edges are. This is number five. The giveaway for this one is the fact that it's got these layers, and the layers can easily be split. Okay, so that's number five. This is number six, and this is actually one of the rocks, and there's a few of these that come from the additional rock chart that is on your lab. So let me just go back to the lab here. If you go down to the last page of this, you'll see that there's additional rocks here. And some of these are related to the ones that are on your reference table on page 7. In fact, they all are related, but these are very specific, so they have specific names. And the rock that we just did, number 6, is actually from this list. And if you look at that closely, you'll see these compacted shell fragments that are all kind of embedded together in this. So this is number 6. This is number 7. Number 7 has these shell imprints in it, so it's got fossils present, and they're all fossil shells. Okay, so that's number 7. Very compacted. Okay, it's pretty dull gray color, but you can see the fossils. This is number 8. Number 8 has sediments that are really small, but I don't see any layering in this, so this is a little bit more compacted together. Okay, it doesn't have as much of a gritty texture. This is number 9. Number 9 is a neat rock. It's got these angular fragments, chunks of other rocks, embedded together in this kind of white powdery substance. There's some holes in this as well, which is kind of interesting. This is number 10. Number 10 is clear, and you can see through it, and you can scratch it really easily. Okay, so that's number 10. 11 is right here. 11 has these really, and it's hard to see these on the screen, but really round grains, and it's all one single color. And then finally, number 12, loosely compacted brown color. It can break pretty easily. Will kind of break off in chunks of this. Okay. All right, so don't forget there's additional rocks there. All right, so let's go through the whole entire thing, and what you're going to do is on your lab, you're going to want to write down all of the correct answers right in here. So hopefully maybe you tried guessing, and then what you're going to do is just correct your mistakes here. Okay, so here's all the answers. Number 1, this rock is sandstone. You probably saw this in previous video on sedimentary rocks. You can see the multiple different colors of sand in there. So that's sandstone, kind of a gritty texture to it. Number 2 is bituminous coal. Bituminous coal has this black shiny appearance, very lightweight, will rub off. Number 3 is conglomerate. Conglomerate has the rounded fragments. typically found in a river or a stream. Number 4 is breccia. Breccia has angular fragments formed in the same way, probably a different location, maybe a mountain landslide. So this is breccia. Number 5 is shale. This is the one I was telling you my professor taught me how to identify. You can break this, split this off really easily, and you can get really thin sheets of this. This is shale. Very, very fine grained. You can't feel any grit to it. Number 6 is one of the additional rocks called coquina. Coquina is just embedded shell fragments. This is a type of limestone, but it is big chunks of shells all embedded together. Number 7 is compact limestone. Compact limestone is one of the additional ones as well. You can see the shells embedded in there. You really can't see the actual grains of this, so it's so compacted, but that is compact limestone. You find this around here actually. Syracuse has a lot of compact limestone. Number 8 is siltstone. Siltstone doesn't have the layering that shale does, but it's a pretty fine grain. You can feel a little bit of a texture to it, but it's mostly silky smooth, but no layers really, no real apparent layers like shale has. And you can compare the two of them. You can see it in shale, this one, and not so much in siltstone, this one. Okay. All right, this next one is an additional rock called pyroclastic breccia. Pyroclastic breccia is made from a volcano. It's also known as tuff. So you have a volcanic eruption with ash and rocks and debris that tumbles down the hillside and kind of all piles up together in a pyroclastic flow. Very, very hot, like 300, really, I don't know the actual temperature, but super hot material, and then it kind of cools down. It's almost like an igneous rock, but it's not melted. Okay, you can see actually it's got a little bit of a vesicular texture, which means there was a lot of gas in that kind of trapped around the gas bubbles, so you can see holes in it, which is kind of interesting. Number 10 is rock gypsum. Rock gypsum is made from gypsum and it's super soft. You can scratch it with your fingernail, so that's rock gypsum. It's not rock salt, it's rock gypsum. This, number 11, is called oolitic limestone. Oolitic limestone is made from these little tiny spherical critters that live in the ocean, and they make a little shell around themselves that's perfectly circular. And then when they die, they settle to the bottom and make this sand, essentially, that's all calcite. Okay, so that's oolitic limestone. And then finally, the last one is called peat. Okay, peat is the step 1 before you get to bituminous coal. Peat is not as compacted and not as compressed for a long period of time, and so it's kind of loosely bound together. So that's peat, plant remains. Okay, so going back to your lab, what you're going to do is fill out all this other additional information here, and you can get all this information from your reference table. Now, just a heads up, on your additional rock chart, peat is exactly like bituminous coal, and you can use the same information from your reference table for bituminous coal for that. Compact limestone, oolitic limestone, and coquina are all types of limestone, so you can just use the information from there. Pyroclastic breccia is like breccia, so just use the information from there on your reference table. So when you're filling out this information, just use some of the additional information that is given to you from your reference table. The map symbol, because you guys are remote and you can't draw this by hand, don't worry about it. You don't have to do the map symbols. Okay, so that's it. You're just going to do this part of the lab, and then the next day you're going to be completing the questions and filling out your answers to these questions. These questions at the bottom here are from your workbook, and that'll be what's going on tomorrow for work. And then you're going to submit this to me electronically to send me an email. Okay, and that's it. If you guys have any questions about anything, just let me know.